All right.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is the People Before Politics radio show, and I am Damon K. Jones. This is my partner, AJ Woodson, and we're here every Sunday at 6 p.m., and you could catch us on Instagram. You could catch us on Facebook. You could catch us on YouTube, and you could catch us on X, aka Twitter. So we're all over, and we're trying to make it happen. It's the news with the black point of view. And my brother AJ, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. I was just sharing it on my page and trying to share the link. Yo, so there's a lot going on. As Damon said, this is Black Westchester Presents, the People Before Politics radio show, the news with the black point of view, giving you real talk for the community since 2014. First, I like to start with the issue happened not this Saturday, last Saturday. I talked about it, I wrote about it, and there was a Black History event in New Rochelle High School, and I was there as a vendor selling copies of my books. I had all my books there. I'm sitting there, and thanks to Humble Bumble Books for getting me a table. So I'm sitting out there, and there was another author that was sitting next to me that I was introduced to that day. And County Executive George Latimer comes through. We're in the hallway outside of the auditorium where the Black History event is going on. And he's walking through the hallway, and he's doing the traditional candidate thing, shaking hands and kissing babies. When a voter, a New Rochelle resident, who also was an author selling her book right next to me, walked up to Mr. Latimer and basically proceeded to ask him why he was running. He goes on and on to talk about why he's running, basically repeating a lot of things that was, you can find on his website and stuff. And she was like, no, why are you really running? And she started questioning him. And while this is going on, I'm sitting minding my business, waiting for this to go by because they're partially blocking my table. So when people walk by, they can't see my books. So then he looks over to me and says something along the lines that I may, while he was talking to the young lady, I may want to listen so that I would write a fair and balanced story. I'm like, what? So again, because it was a Black History event and it really wasn't the place, we've been heavily covering, the campaign, but to me, it wasn't the place for that. So I was trying to let it go. And then a white lady that was a vendor, I don't remember her name, so excuse me for saying a white lady. She had a mask on, and she was like, yeah, since you put it that way, what about all the stuff that Black Westchester has been covering? And then she persisted to grill him on articles mostly written by Damon. So then he starts saying, yeah, I addressed that. They're saying that I went to a MAGA fundraiser and I addressed it, and AJ continues to keep spreading the lie or something along the lines. First off, I wasn't saying anything.
First of all,
Well, let me finish because I'm gonna let
uh,
you get in there. So I'm like, okay. So for the second time, my name came up, or I was addressed, and I had nothing to do with this. Wasn't there? I know anywhere I go, I'm Black Westchester. Anywhere I go, but I wasn't there as a reporter, as a representative of Black Westchester. I was there as a vendor to sell my books. So this goes on and on and on and on, and the first lady, the voter, started asking him about the money he received from APAC. He decided to deflect, and I don't know who used the word white supremacist. The word white supremacist was thrown around, and he then proceeded to rally off a bunch of names like Hakeem Jeffries got money. Is he a white supremacist? This person got money. Are they a white supremacist? This person got money. Are they a white supremacist? So she said, I never said you were a white supremacist. I said they represent white supremacists. So the conversation is going on and on. And I forget what Mr. Latimer says to defend himself. And the young lady says, but you're getting money from the devil. And that's where the conversation turned interesting. People need to support all politicians who did not receive money from APAC. So thank you, Sam. What's up, Sam Circuit tuned in? I haven't seen you since the days of Club Hollywood, my brother. How you been? So um, this is going on, and he's responding, and she said, but you're taking money from the devil." That's when Latimer responded, "Well, Jamal's taking money from the devil too. Jamal's taking money from Hamas." Of course, the lady was, "Well, you make a statement like that, you got proof to back that up or something?" So he proceeded to pull his phone out from his inside jacket pocket and was looking for some article or something that he couldn't find. And he promised to send the lady uh, an email of an article where he got it from. So then he proceeds to stand in front of my table and start talking to me. And I'm like, yo, first off, the things that I personally responded to, I find it very interesting. Let me stop, and Damon will speak later. I find it very interesting. Once I told him, those articles, one, were written by Damon, and I'm not putting it off on Damon. We partners, it's Black Westchester together. But why are you addressing me when I know you personally have this man's cell phone in your phone? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you not? If you had a problem with something that Damon wrote, he said, "Oh, I'm going to tell Damon you put it all on him." So that's not what I said, but you won't tell him that because you have not addressed Damon yet. So then he decided to get into a debate with me. And I was like, the one thing that I've been saying, and you can watch the video of the last couple of shows, I was personally commenting on APAC and all of these groups encouraging Republicans to change their party affiliation to Democrat so they could vote Latimer out. And I do not believe that the Republicans should be involved in the democratic process. And I told Latimer to his face, if the Democrats feel that you're the better candidate, they should be free to vote for you without Republican interference. And if they feel that Jamal deserves re-election, then they should be free to vote for him without outside interference. I then was told by a bunch of people that there's not enough Republicans to take over the party. Well, the Republicans have done this before. In 2013, the Republicans tried to infiltrate the Westchester Independence Party when Dr. Julio Cavallo was the chairman at the time. Rest in peace. And they had to take him to court, and the judge ordered 3,700 Republicans to be removed from the Westchester Independence Party poll. In a close race that might be decided by hundreds or less, in a heated race like this, several hundred or thousand Republican voters can tip the scale in one way or the other. And they let their intentions be known that they specifically want everybody to switch their party affiliation to vote against Latimer. Those are the points that I was making, and he couldn't argue with me. But he still wanted to harp on things that Damon said. And again, I told him, but you won't say this to Damon, whose cell phone number you have in your cell phone. And to this day, he's still not addressed Damon. I then invited him that I would moderate the conversation between him and Damon, and they could have it. They could have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? If he had a problem with what Damon wrote, he can tell Damon, and Damon can address it directly. He was like, "Oh, I'm not coming on your show. I'm not coming on your show. It has to be some public TV show. I'm not coming on there so the two of you can double team me." Again, I had no problem with him. I'm disappointed on the reasons he ran and all that other stuff. I'm disappointed he took money from APAC, who let their intentions be known. I'm disappointed in the Republican organizations that are telling their members to switch their party affiliation so they can interfere with the Democratic primary and disenfranchise the wishes of the Democratic voters. He didn't want to talk to me about any of those things. Specifically, I've already heard from his camp. He is mad because Damon called him Genocide George, and that's what set this man off. But again, he has not once come on. He doesn't want to address Damon, so I think he figured it would go away. So I wrote a editorial about it. A couple of days later, City and State called me up. They decided to do a follow up, and they talked to George Latimer. And in the article that they wrote, said that not only didn't he deny saying that Congressman Bowman was taking money from Hamas, he doubled down on it. And he referred to an article from the Free Beacon, which is an ultra right wing rag that they do not let facts get in the way from the stories they want to tell. Somewhat like Fox Light. So that's his proof. He's quoting something that no journalist,
Credible.
no credible journalist would accept anything from that publication as a source, would not call that a source. They would have to get independent corroboration from somebody else. They could not, no reporter could hand this in to their media outlet that they worked in as the Free Beacon as a source. So then after that, The Hill, which is a national publication out of Washington, decided to do a follow-up and both put links to our stories. Then The Intercept, which is more of a left-leaning national publication, did a follow-up story, and they both talked to the young lady that was there. And while she wanted her name, "Hey, Lena Anderson, how are you?" While she wanted her name to remain anonymous, she confirmed that this is what Latimer, in fact, did say to her. So that was the story that consumed all of last week. It has been shared. It kind of went viral without audio or video, especially because everyone talked to George and he didn't deny it. And I know Damon has a lot to say on the situation. So I just wanted to share, since I was there, I wrote the story, and that's what it all started from. I wanted to just break it down for everybody. Shout out to everybody involved in that Black History program in New Rochelle who invited me to be a vendor. I appreciate that. And it's a shame that this went down at what was a Black History event, an annual one. I think this is their 12th annual one. And, this transpired from George because a voter who may never have had contact with him before, one-on-one, decided that, she didn't know who she was going to vote for at the time. She decided to ask George why he was running against Jamal. She wanted to hear what he had to say, give him a chance to win her over as a voter. And she said after the confrontation, he definitely pushed her to voting for Bowman. Shout out to said Lena Anderson. Said congratulations. Shout out to Sam Zerka. Shout out to everybody else who's tuned in. Go ahead.
Uh, Apex. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Hey, Lena, Sammy Z, what's up? No, let's. First, I just want to say for progressives, first, registered Democrats that call themselves progressives, your party is being taken over, especially in CD16. Your party is being taken over slowly.
1,300 plus registered Republicans.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, now listen closely. They tell us not to vote for Republicans. They tell us Republicans are racist. They tell us all these things. It's so ingrained in the Democratic rhetoric that if you would say that you are moving to Texas, which is oh my God, they're racist. It's a Republican-run state. All this scare tactics that the Democrats have said to us. Now, but they take money from them. See, that doesn't make any sense, because they take money. So how are you telling me that these guys are the enemy, but yet you take money from them? And I don't care what George says. It's just not Black Westchester that has reported it. I guess he thinks he's gonna pick at us. I don't know. The way we're running a story that's not true. That's false. You took one article said almost $600,000.
Over $600,000, which was 42%. I asked him about that too. He said it wasn't true. Over 42%. He said,
well, everything's not true. He's like,
over 42% of what he brought in for the quarter came from APAC. 600.
Exactly.
It's actually, the one was quoted exactly 607,000 and some change. So we just say over 600,000.
Right. And then
over 1.4, 1.3 that he brought in for the quarter.
Exactly. And then we didn't run off with the report that he was going to a Republican, a guy that supported, and they put all his donations up. He supported all type of MAGA politicians.
So let me stop you there. So his keeping everything. So his statement that he put, that the wife is a Democrat, the husband is a Republican who.
What does that mean?
Trump. So he claimed that 50 people was there, 48 of the people were Democrats, which means that there could have been 2 Republicans there, including the husband, who is a known Trump supporter.
It was his party. I just want to.
I put it out there, I want to put out what he said too. So
yeah, they can fling it. They can fling it all they want to, but his history of donating to Republicans is long. You can't tell us
he's a Trump supporter. He donated a lot into Trump's campaign, specifically.
The Trump campaign, and
a lot of Republicans, though.
And a lot of Republicans. So you can't tell us to do one thing and you do the other. That's being a hypocrite. That's being a hypocrite. So
I don't know how you don't know that the optics are bad if the husband. I don't care if the wife's a Democrat and the husband is a Republican. If he is a known Trump supporter who has put mad money in, how do you not understand that the optics of you being in this household, that half of it is a Trump supporting household? How do you not see the optics when the article that you wanted to share from the Beacon was about Jamal and Cori Bush, going to a party in LA that supposedly one of the people at the party supported Hamas. So you wanted to say that he took money from Hamas, but you got mad when it says that you went to a MAGA fundraiser when the husband in that house is a MAGA Republican who has supported Trump and other MAGA Republicans. You can't have it both ways. Jamal Bowman can't be guilty of affiliation for being association for being at a party that one of the people there, or maybe even the host, was a person who has supported who. There's no proof he supported Hamas and with finances. He spoke out about the ceasefire, and he spoke out about the atrocities from Israel to Palestine. That's what he did. That's what they mean. That's what they're trying to say makes him a Hamas supporter. But you went to a party where the husband in that house is a known Republican donor, Trump donor. So you can't have it both ways. You can't throw shade on Bowman for attending a party of someone who spoke up against Israel, and you called him a Hamas supporter, and you went to a household. So I just want to get that straight verbally, break that down for you.
Well, I mean, that's
it's bigger than Jamal supporting Jamal. Anybody supporting Jamal or Jamal re-election? This is just reporting the facts as they are. This is a party you went to, as you reported that Jamal went to that party,
and this is the organization you went to that gave you the money.
AIPAC gave you money, and everybody from City and State, the New York Post, Low HUD, and several other media outlets all reported you received over $600,000 for the quarter, which was 42% of what you raked in of the 1.3 or 1.8. I mean, 1.3 or 1.4 of what you raked in. It was 40%, 42%.
And
we didn't make this up.
No, and the crazy thing,
and you're not calling out Low HUD, you're not calling out City and State, you're not calling out the New York Post, you're not calling out, but we're making this up though. And you made this about you and us. You made this about you and us when you decided to address me at an event where I was minding my business and leaving you alone, and you wanted to call our credibility into question. So now I got to come out, share the facts. You know what I'm saying? You if we write anything, and you know this, understand we have receipts. We don't write things without having the receipts. If we write it, if we say it, we have the receipts. Hey, Cynthia Turnquest Jones, what's up, guys? What's up?
Hey, what's up? We look. Here's the thing. We always have receipts when we write something. We always.
She said AJ put the grandbaby on the screen. I didn't put him on the screen. That was Damon.
Yeah, she's upstairs now with her mother. Yeah, we always see. The thing is, we know we have to be on point, so we keep receipts for what we write.
Right.
And all the time. No, she's upstairs with her mother now. All the time that we get into trouble, good trouble, is because we have receipts. They you want to dismiss us, but it's not opinionated. Now, I will give my people used to false journalism. Absolutely, they're used to false journalism. And they never expect a black newspaper, to report these issues. Now, when it comes to George, you didn't have to take AIPAC money, and we wouldn't be having these conversations. And the fact that this organization has nationally backed Republicans and has nationally backed opponents of black candidates. It's unfortunate for you, George, you fall in the line of the consistency. Now, we
exactly, Lena.
This shows that we are not discredited. Exactly. However, we do have the blind allegiance to. We do not have blind allegiance to Jamal. As you may express his opinions on Israel as well as Hamas. You guys are truth to power gurus who we trust. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
And that's the whole thing. Now, as a tax-paying American, I have a problem. I have a clear problem, and I have to get it off my phone. But they're about to send another $13 billion to Israel.
And see, here's the thing too.
Are you calling me? Finish something.
Okay.
They're sending $13 billion of our tax dollars, and this is not anti-Israel. This is pro-America. $13 billion. Do you know what we could do with $13 billion in the communities, in the urban communities? Do you know what we could do with $13 billion in the hills of the South? We have a fault. Our infrastructure in America is falling apart, and we're sending another government $13 billion. And then when Black people ask for reparations, they say we got to study it. Huh? See, we're getting this whole thing backwards. See, what we really need to look at, Israel at the end of the day is a foreign government. How can a foreign government have this much influence in the decisions of America with our goddamn tax dollars? So if
in our elections
want money to go to Israel, did the $100 million, $200 million that you are spending to attack not only Black, you're attacking Black elected officials, majority. Why don't you just send that money to Israel? And this is not anti-Israel, but I got a problem with sending all this money to Ukraine.
Right.
When in our communities right now, there are communities, white and Black, catching hell.
I want to address that. So the Republicans have a problem with sending blank checks to Ukraine without knowing what the money is being spent on, without having some checks and balances on the situation. Basically, that is what Jamal Bowman spoke about sending a blank check to Israel. It was okay for the Republicans to want some kind of assurances and want to talk about what all this money is being spent on that we're sending Ukraine. So Israel is above the same critique of and again, unfortunately, we have to continue to say this because we said it. October 7th, what Hamas did, the attack on Israel was atrocious, and the lives that were innocent lives that were lost was atrocious. But the response from Israel and the innocent people being killed in Palestine that are not part of Hamas, the schools being bombed, the hospital being bombed, the houses of worship being bombed, there's an international court that said this is akin to genocide. Again, Black Westchester didn't make this claim. This was a court, an international court, that said what's going on, the acts of Israel is close to genocide. And basically, the United States is a co-defender. It's basically an undisclosed co-conspirator because we're spending the money there. There's a lot of people saying that we're sending the money, so we're supporting what is being considered by an international court genocide going on in Palestine. We have to think about that. They called for a ceasefire. AIPAC is against anybody not just being 100% pro-Israel and no questions asked. We shouldn't be 100% pro anything. I'm not 100% pro Jamal Bowman or any other candidate. We shouldn't be 100% pro anything. There should be checks and balances. There should be conversations and questions asked, and we should speak we should question. What does it say? The money you speak of is not an either or issue. The military budget is huge. Domestic funding is another part. The money is there. Corporate taxes are grabbing up. So listen.
Corporate
To
taxes.
quote,
We're
to
not
quote, to quote the great Tupac Shakur, it's funny that we got money for war, but we can't feed the poor.
exactly. Look,
And
look
we're
at
not even
this.
talking about, all the migrants who just came, and all the poor Americans that have been here
Look,
before that.
look what
We
look
can't
what
feed the poor.
look what Thomas Massey said. 14.3 billion to send to Israel. He said Israel has a lower debt to GDP ratio than the United States. And we're sending 14 billion. And this has no offsets. So it will increase our debt. See, this is what happens when you do this. And then when poor communities, impoverished communities say, hey, we need some support, they say, well, we don't have no money. This is why. And then we give these people our votes. Good evening, Sister Dawn. We
Good
give
evening,
these
Dawn.
people our votes. Now, I don't even know if I'm assuming he's a Republican because I was looking at I'm assuming, I'm still not sure. But at the end of the day, he makes solid sense. Whether we like the opinions or not, he makes solid sense. How do we have 14 billion? Yes, we have to talk about this.
He's the Republican congressman for Kentucky's 4th congressional district.
Well, he makes an excellent point.
Since 2012.
He makes an excellent point. Republican or Democrat, he makes an excellent point. We go into debt, sending money over there, and they're spending, and think about it. The money that AIPAC is spending to use our money. Just think about it. Just think about it. And let's just say, and we say, you know what? Let's take that 14 billion, make it 5 billion, and let's fix our infrastructure. Will I be called anti-Israel? Absolutely.
But it's amazing that this Republican congressman from Kentucky, AIPAC is not running anybody against him, but for Jamal saying similar things, and for the squad saying similar things, and anybody else that's a Democrat saying anything anti-Israel is labeled anti-Israel, and they're running hundreds of millions of dollars to unseat them. But they're not attacking this Republican congressman from Kentucky who is making some of the same points. So that's a hypocrite. That's hypocritical on that issue.
And locally, exactly, Sandy.
Yeah, it's not that we don't have the money. It's that we don't have the money for that.
Or we don't have the money for you.
Right.
Right?
Repeating what Tupac said.
Money for you.
Repeating what Tupac said. We got money for war, but we can't feed the poor. The poor that has been here way before the migrants came here. We don't have money for them. We want to cut all social programs, food, food stamps, welfare, any social programs that they call entitlement programs.
Oh no, wait. No, he's being primary.
Is he?
He's being primary by 2 people.
Either one of them being supported by AIPAC?
I don't know. I don't have time to do the research on that, but probably so. Yeah.
I don't have enough money. I don't have enough knowledge to speak up for him and whether he should be reelected or not. But for that one thing he said, even if he's MAGA, a broken clock is right twice a day. And bravo for him for saying it, because it needs to be said. And this needs to be said by Republicans who talk on Fox News because those people who only watch Fox News, they don't watch MSNBC and CNN and all those other stuff where this is said all the time. So it needs to be said by Republicans so that Fox News audience will see it. Now, they probably won't agree with it. They probably write it off, but they need to hear it, and they need to hear it from their own.
And another thing, we have to be so serious about this, and I'm talking to the people that are Democrats, because if they win this race, they're going to use that blueprint for every other race. And we have an opportunity to really make history. We have a black, someone of color running for district attorney. We could reelect the first black man as Congress, and
in the CD16,
in CD16 and CD17, we could elect the first black woman for history in Westchester County. And it seems at this point, my pastor said something in January after the New Year's. He said 2024 will be the year of exposure. That God is going to expose who you really are to people. He's going to expose who people really are. So if you said you about one thing and you was never about that, God is going to expose what you're really about. And right now, people in CD16 and people in Westchester, we are seeing the real people. We're seeing people who they really are right now. And to the point of the fact that they would do this shenanigans to get Republicans and independents to change parties strictly on taking out a black man. Let's not tiptoe around that issue because I'm not. They're doing all this. They tried to take him out last time. It didn't work. And now they figure and now they figure this is what we're going to do. And for young people of all colors that's in the Democratic Party in Westchester County, your party will never be the same after this election. No matter who wins, it will never be the same. Right? Because we see who people really are that say they're Democrats. George has the nerve to continue in his press releases to say he's a progressive. You can't be a progressive, George, taking Republican money. And I don't care what you said. It's just not we're saying it. All the other news outlets are saying it. You can't be a progressive. You are MAGA light. You're MAGA light. You're not hard enough to be a Republican. You're just light enough to take their money. And then you expect us to co-sign that. And let me tell you, Black Westchester, his 2 terms, we have always been George's friends. We endorsed George twice
against Astorino, and we endorsed him again, and we've supported and reported. And let's be clear about the narrative. We've covered a lot of his good work that he's done as county executive, and no one is saying that he was bad as a county executive because he wants to change the narrative like we're all like we've always been against him or something. We've been pro Latimer for a while, so it's just a few issues that I have now, and we are addressing some of those issues that are bigger than him, but it's the issues that I'm specifically debating, and we're talking about some of the actions you're doing now. So we're not talking about you as a lifelong candidate, a lifelong politician and your history. We're talking about now. Your actions now are in question. And let it be clear, locally, We are the fourth estate. This is our job to question these elected officials, these candidates, and put out the news and put out what's going on and shed light to situations that they don't want light on. This is our job. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny that when we were doing this to everybody else, you were really supportive of us. Now that we're questioning you, you have a problem. Like we, and you want to question our credibility. Our credibility was good enough for you to come on our show as state senator, for you to come on our show as a candidate, for you to come on our show as a county executive to give the yearly report of what you did the year before and what you're going to do. It was good enough for you to come on with Andrew Stewart Cousins and everybody else. It was good enough for you to call on us to support some initiatives that you had. But now that we question your actions now, all of a sudden, our credibility is in question now.
Well, look, our credibility wasn't in question when we defended you against Cobra. We could have roasted you. We could have roasted you, George. And they still don't. And you know what the sad thing about it is? They still don't have a raise.
And the female employees still don't have maternity leave.
Exactly.
So let's talk about your record. Let's talk about you being a progressive. And the females that work for the county do not have maternity leave. They have to take their own time. And this is not just corrections. These are county workers. These are not just union. The non-union workers also do not have maternity leave.
No, because
that is not progressive.
That's not progressive. And then they sit there and say they rather have it negotiated within the contracts. Why just
what about the non-union
right thing?
What about the non-union female workers?
Well, Chris Johnson,
they don't have it. Right, they don't have it. And yeah, Chris Johnson, he caught a lot of heat about a lot of stuff, but he was going to push that. And the reason he was pushing that, his aide had a baby because she didn't have maternity leave, had to take off and use her own time. So this is something that we've been speaking about, and then correct. And she's not a union, and she's not a union employee. So the non-union female employees don't have it either. So how are you negotiating a contract with corrections and the non-union female employees don't have it either? That's not progressive. I'm just saying. And if you're for persons of color, and you're for the rights of women, and you're for the rights of LGBTQ, and you're for diversity and equality and all that other stuff, why don't the female workers, the female employees of the county have maternity leave? Why? Voters, y'all need to ask him that when he comes around and he calls for your vote, and God forbid if he decides to actually do a debate, but when he comes around and to your house parties and to your organizations and to your black churches, and that's another question you need to ask.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been fighting for the female workers of the county for several years. Damon specifically, it got with the women in corrections and stuff, but even outside of that, the female employees of the county do not have maternity leave, and I want to answer on that.
Well, because they wanted to be negotiated by unions that are majority male. They're not going to negotiate maternity leave because the county is going to want something for that. And these all-male negotiating teams will not think is it that important to give up to bring the babies to work. You can't do that, Sandy. This is a jail. You can't do that. This is not a day camp. This is a jail. It's bad enough civilians are in danger. You can't bring a baby
But the county building don't have the county
But
building don't have.
I'm talking no, but the person that brought it up was a female correction officer. So I mean, look.
Well, I'm just saying, Chris was also fighting it because of his aid.
No.
Yeah.
I got that. I have the bill. I have a copy of the bill. See, I like I say, I have receipts that it was drawn up. It was drawn up by somebody that used to work there.
And Sandy, the county building doesn't have daycare facilities for them to bring their child.
Well, but Sandy, if you do it for everybody else, you got to do it for corrections too, right? That's just not. It's just not right. And corrections has the majority of single black women and single black mothers than any other department. So if you're going to do it, you got to do it for everybody. And it's just not conducive. It'd be easier just to pass a bill. It would
be cheaper to give maternity leave than to set up daycare and facilities and all that stuff to bring babies to work.
But the radical thing to do, Sandy, is vote people out. Just like that, just like they saying that they're voting Bowman out. See, we don't have the same attitude. And they will tell us community before party. See, we have been indoctrinated by this Democrat machine to think party before community. Now we're seeing what community for party can do. We're seeing it. When those people that back George, APAC, and that other organization that says it on their website, community before party. We're seeing what that can do. We have to change our mindset to say community for party. If you're not giving us what we want, you're not getting our vote. And don't let them scare you into, oh, Donald Trump. No, all politics are local. All politics are local. I've been living from Clinton to Bush to Obama to Trump. Mount Vernon ain't changed. Black communities throughout the United States ain't changed. Matter of fact, they got worse. We ain't got nothing better. So when let's not be fooled by by pie in the sky. When politics are local, they're showing us what we should have been doing years ago. But we're not doing it. Progressives, we're not doing it. Black voters, we're not doing it. And now, because we have not learned from that, they're organizing and trying to take everything. And we're going to be left with nothing. And we don't see it. What do we tell these young people that believe in the democratic process? These young people that I see, I go to the Black Dems and I see these young people. Some just got into office. And they believed that BS rhetoric that the Republicans is the enemy. And yada, 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 yada. And now Republicans are funding those who call themselves progressives. So what do they have left? What are we telling them? To sell your soul to? To take money from things that you don't believe? These are the examples that we're given. If we don't push back, it's nothing for the young people. Especially if you're black and brown in Westchester County. You'll get nothing. Because they won't let you have it. Because they control the system even more. The people that say community over party. And the last time I checked, I ain't seen nobody that looked like me in their community. I'm just being honest. And we have to have these honest conversations. Next month on the 3rd, we're gonna have Pastor Moraine on the show to talk about Israel, Palestine, and the Black community. And right now, I'll ask any pastor in Westchester County who stands with George to come on that show too. And let's have a conversation. How you gonna turn your back on those Black and brown people over in Gaza? How you gonna turn your back on those Christian churches that was bombed in Gaza? One of the oldest Christian communities in the world. And you call yourself a pastor. You can contact me or AJ. You'll probably contact AJ first. We'll send you the link to come on the show. Because I want to hear from you how you support that. Yeah, we called him Genocide George because he hasn't said nothing about those deaths. Nothing. And we're just asking him to have a little humanity. It took him 10 days to say Muslims, not all Muslims, wasn't part of Hamas. 10 days. Why'd you take so long, George? Why'd you take so long? It should have been instant when you was asked that question on social media. Took you 10 days. And in the process, and in the process by then, Muslim mosque denounced you for taking that long when it should have been automatic.
She said he needed Apex clearance before he could say that.
No, exactly. He needed them. He needed their permission because that's what happens. That's what happens. The Bible says, he who pays the piper calls the tune. So you had to get your permission from AIPAC to even say something nice about Muslims. And then you are putting to say, well, of course. No, well, you didn't say it then. You should have said that when the question was asked. And you still haven't said anything about the continued killing of children in Gaza.
So just you brought this up, and just for people that don't know what you're talking about, the New York chapter of the Council of American Islamic Relations, CAIR, New York, and the Islamic Leadership Council of New York condemned Westchester County George Latimer's refusal to say that all Muslims are not part of Hamas in a Facebook post relating to his New York Times expose. The Westchester Black Political Caucus recently urged Westchester County George Latimer to respond to a New York Times expose on Israel demolition of Palestine buildings in a Facebook post. In the post, Latimer writes, I support the release of kidnapped hostages and Hamas renouncing violence to murdered Jews. What do you support? The WBPC responded, the organization denounces all terrorism, but asked him, does he also denounce Israel's acts of genocide cited by the International Court of Justice, following with, do you believe that all Muslims are members of Hamas? Latimer failed to respond to the question. In a statement, The CAIR New York executive director said, "We condemn Latimer's failure to respond to the question asked by the WBPC, as well as his refusal to acknowledge the ongoing genocide in Palestine. Elected officials have a responsibility to protect all their constituents, regardless of national origin, faith, and political viewpoints. By choosing to remain silent when asked about all Muslims being Hamas, Latimer tactically endorsed racist and dangerous rhetoric and potentially inflamed hate crimes and discrimination towards all Muslims." Um, CAIR New York also condemned Latimer for his refusal to acknowledge the ongoing genocide in Palestine. "It is not difficult uh, for any person of conscience, regardless of ethnicity, race, or religion, to condemn the Israel government's documented mass murder of civilians and destructions." In the statement, it said, "In light of George Latimer's silence when confronted with the critical question of equating Muslims with Hamas, the Islamic Leadership Council of New York, in solidarity with CAIR New York, strongly condemns his insinuation through lack of response. Silence in such contents is not just a lack of words, it's a loud message that forces misunderstanding and Islamophobia. We demand not just clarification, but commitment to dialogue that respects and understands the multifaceted contributions of Muslims in America. Our unity and resilience in addressing such veiled bigotry will only be amplified by our efforts to ensure all Muslim voices are empowered and recognized for their positive contribution to diverse society." So I just wanted to sorry about that. Um, I just wanted to read that for those who are not clear what you was talking about when you said Muslim organizations.
Yeah.
This is two statements from two Muslim organizations that are condemning Westchester County Executive George Latimer for his comments, as well as Westchester County government.
Well,
Because
well, and this is another thing. How are you still how are you still out here campaigning and you still working for the county government? Because see, when you make insensitive statements like that, you're representing the county of Westchester. So this is thank you. And that see, I learned being strong from that sister right there. She was my high school teacher.
Thank you, Lena. Lena is also
and one of the greatest mentors that I had in Greenberg. Thank you. And thank you for your support.
And she was the former
President
president
of the NAACP.
at Greenberg White Plains,
And
and
she put me to work.
and is the inspiration for me being the vice president of the Mount Vernon branch. Me being involved in NAACP at all has a lot to do with Lena's inspiration.
So, we really have to have these conversations, man. Like where is love you too.
Back at you. Much love for you.
We really have to have these conversations because it's getting so out of hand at this point that where's the Democratic Party going? That all of a sudden you move on the first black man to ever have that position. See, and my whole thing is if they do it to Jamal, they'll do it to Ken.
Well, yes, Ken should worry Ken. We have the chance to have the first
unless
deals were made.
You taking AIPAC money too? I don't know.
We have the chance for the first black.
That's my brother. I love him, but
the first black county executive next year.
Exactly.
And if these moves are made on Congressman Jamal Bowman as well as the other Congress members of what they call the squad that are mostly black and brown, or all black and brown. What's to say they won't do this um, to control the county executive race? And also, these races, and the next part of the conversation I want to get into is redistricting. But these races, everybody says they care about control of the House. These congressional races, along with the redistricting, which is our next topic, are going to lead to who is control of the House. And the Republicans are trying to overturn and maintain as many seats by any means necessary, and that is their plan. And while we're playing checkers, they're playing chess. See, here's another scenario. So they give money for George Latimer. They switch their party affiliation. They get George Latimer to win the Democratic primary. Jamal Bowman continues to run on the Working Family Party. It breaks up the Democratic vote, and then they find a Republican to support, and they sneak a Republican in, and all vote for him in the general election. That's a scenario that can happen. I'm not saying that is the plan, but that's something that Democrats need to think about, because it's about overturning this seat. They just lost a seat with Santos when he got kicked out. The Democrat won that seat. So they lost one seat. They need to turn over as many seats and maintain all the seats they can. And New York State, because of the failed gerrymandering, that had the special master draw up new lines, and they lost a key 6 seats, is almost single-handedly responsible for the Democrats losing the House. New York State. New York State, yes. Whether you're in CD16 or any of the districts outside of it. So that's something else you got to think about. So I want to, unless Damon has something else more to say about this, so the lines just came in for redistricting. And so far, there wasn't a real major change in CD16, which some people have a problem with because it didn't give back that part that the Democrats originally had before the special master redrew the lines, the parts of the Bronx, which consists of a lot of black and brown voters and a big block of black and brown voters. Um, um, so Congress, you wrote the article specifically about that. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries is pushing back, and I'll let you talk about that and talk about his statement if you want.
All right. So it's very interesting. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who is the minority leader in Congress, he criticized the IRC's proposal, highlighting the concerns about the failure to address key flaws in the current map drawn by an unelected special master in 2022. Jeffries noted that the IRC's map disregards or exacerbates issues related to communities of interest, particularly in parts of New York State like the lower Hudson Valley. And Senator Jeffries also stated that the IRC map breaks apart 6 additional counties in New York State, including one that appears to be designed to benefit an incumbent in the 19th Congressional District. That would be clear violation of the New York State Constitution. Now that independent redistricting commission has completed its work, it's important that the legislature ensure, as the constitutional content says, that the people of New York State be afforded fairly drawn congressional maps. And that was his pushback and criticism of the congressional maps. and of course, it's always, whether people say it or people won't say it, they're always looking at District 16 and how the fact that more of the Bronx have been taken out of the original district after Jamal won. So
that helped him win too.
right,
That was overwhelmingly
right,
pro Jamal. Yeah.
right. And then see, and this is and whether it's true or not, right? Perception is perception, and it's nothing you could do. And at the end of the day, in politics, it ain't nothing you could do about perception. And I'm always transparent. And I told Ken Jenkins, they wouldn't be looking at you as the chair of the redistricting if George wasn't to run around saying, if Jamal gets the Bronx back, he has no chance on winning. That was the letter that was sent to the IDC. And that's what he was quoted saying to the press. And that's why people was asking Ken to recluse himself from that, because they thought it was a conflict. They thought it was a conflict of interest. So, this issue is going to be ongoing. But like, I hope that it's not the case, because people are not going to have trust in the Democratic Party, and especially Black people who sit and you tell it goes. See, this is the craziness. It goes against everything that we have been taught by Democratic leaders in Westchester County, black and white. And we would think that the Black ones will have our interests to make sure we have proper representation, because if it happens, they'll leave, because most of them, Andrea Stewart Cousins, I love her to death, she's on her way out. Most of them are on their way out. And then what's going to happen after that? When we co-sign all this craziness that's happening when they're changing registrations, what makes us think they won't just do it throughout Westchester? Nobody's looking down the line, because they're good now. But the future of the party is in jeopardy. But you're good now. You got your 20, 30 some odd years in politics. You're good now. But the future of the party with Black and brown people and like-minded white people are in jeopardy. And you say, no, Damon, that's not true. That's not true. Why not? So, we really have to stick together, because they're the only ones saying community before party.
Well, if enough of us are taking money from people that don't have our interests at heart, we will never get to what you're talking about.
No.
Because listen. See, here's the problem with Latimer accepting $600,000 from AIPAC. Whoever is the largest campaign donors, when they get into office and when their phone rings, those are calls that have to be answered. These people do not put that kind of money up and don't want something in return. So the people who are spending the most money, those are the people whose calls get answered. And the things that they want get addressed. Or you lose their support for your next election. So we have to be clear about that. If you're taking money from AIPAC, AIPAC will be calling. And you can say whatever you want, but you done took their money. You done took $600,000 of their money, and that helped you win. And they led the lead. They led the charge to switching people from Republican to Democrat to vote against your opponent. Believe me, the phone is going to ring. And demands will be, well, maybe there'll be requests in the beginning, but they'll turn into demands. So let's keep that in mind too. And let that be a lesson for Black people. We need to stop supporting candidates with our words and not our wallets. If we had our own Black PACs, if we pooled our money together, some of these people wouldn't have to take that kind of money from other people, the money they need to win, because we could support them financially and give them that money. And then when the phone starts ringing, your calls are the calls that have to be answered because you're the one who put up major money in their elections. Let's just be clear about that. So we got this whole redistricting thing. I think it has to be now presented to the legislature, which is the state senate and the assembly, and they have to vote on it. Not sure if that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, but that's where we are right now with that. And, we have to get together as a people and start demanding things. We have to start, like every other group of people, elected officials have to come see them to see what is it that they want for their vote. Black people traditionally just give their vote away to the Democrats, so the Democrats don't have to come around and see what they want. We give away our votes, and then we call later and start asking for stuff after they're in office, and then complain when we don't get what we want. It's a little backwards. Democrats need to be fostering the largest voters registration drive in this area. Follow up with getting the largest turnout at the Democratic primary, because there are already at least 1,300 Republicans that have made that deadline and switched their party affiliation before Valentine's Day. There'll be some pushback, supposedly, might be some lawsuits, but right now it's $1,300 people that specifically intend to vote against Jamal Bowman. You are unhappy with that, you need to be fostering the biggest voter registration drive along with the biggest follow-up to the biggest turnout of Democratic voters, because, so many people that are registered voters don't even vote. The turnout has been low. A third, less than half. It's been pitiful in all of these elections. Like, you can complain and you can take what we're saying and just say, oh my God, and you can complain, or you could just get out. Get out and vote, register, and take control. No matter what that 1,300 people that they added, no matter what they try to do, you still outnumber the Republican Party, and you have a chance to defend all of that, but you have to do it.
So when you see their website and it says community for a party, if those that are watching don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is, I think y'all need to watch his videos. He's been speaking for decades. But I wanted to play something, because
after that I want you to play that Reverend Richardson clip again too.
If I could find, you know what? Okay. I hope I still have it.
All right.
This is something Dr. Claude Anderson said.
We'll put it all together. Is that you got to own it. First, you got to go after resources, but you got to come together first, and you got to develop a sense of cohesiveness. And your sense of cohesiveness should be based around your strongest identification, cosmetic appearance, which is your skin color.
Mhm.
Your greatest commonality is not what schools you went to, what neighborhoods you lived in, who your parents were, how much money you have. That's not your greatest commonality. Your greatest commonality is your skin color.
Mhm.
So you should be saying we got to come together as a team. Why? Because Dr. Anderson told us that racism is a team sport.
Mhm.
You either play as a team or you lose by default. You got enough sense to go out and play as a team on a basketball court or a football court. Why don't you play as a team as a race? So we have to start playing as a team. Now, once you start learning to play as a team, what's the next thing you must get? Next thing you must get is establish some turf. You must say, I must have a turf to operate on.
Land, real estate.
Land, that's right. And since they would not give you the 40 acres, you have no turf. You had a community, they stripped that. And that's why in the 1950s, when you start talking about social integration, they came up with a concept called black removal. They used the 1956 Highway Act to drive an expressway through every black community in America and destroyed it.
So,
Powerful words.
so you said it's a team sport. What are they doing? Community over party. That's what they're doing. It's a team sport. That's what they're doing. But we don't do that. And we're the most loyal to the party. Black people are so loyal to Democrats. They got us scared to be a conservative. They got us scared to be a Republican. They got us scared to be in any other party but the Democratic Party. But yet, their favorite son takes Republican MAGA money from AIPAC, which is documented. I don't care what he says. It's documented. And now we're confused because we're so loyal, we don't even know what to do. We don't know what to do. We're lost. Oh my God, this is happening because we've been bamboozled all the time here in Westchester County. We've been bamboozled, led astray, run amok. And now at this point, we don't know what to do as Black people because they changed the rule on us. And we've been so divided because either we want a job, we want an appointment, or we have a job, we don't want to lose our job.
Or funding.
Oh my God, I got they gave me all this money. I can't say anything. Oh my God, I have a job. I don't want to lose my job. And that's the most saddest thing about Black folks. That's the first excuse. Brother, my job. The oldest joke. The oldest joke is the revolution was taken down because they gave all the Black men government jobs. So they stopped fighting for their rights. They said, brother, you had a job. Yeah, I did, but it never stopped my mouth. Never stopped me from speaking truth to power.
So I'm looking at something that was just sent to me and you. So when George talks, he says,
I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Yeah, he says that Jamal Bowman is taking money from outside of the district. And all the money he's taking is from people that live in the district. Well, I'm looking at something from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, Political Action Committee, that's their super PAC, 12/13/2023. Amount each recipient of this period, $3,300. End cycle to date, $1,679.45. And their address is in Washington, D.C. So it took almost $607,000 from the American Israel Pacific Affairs Committee, APAC, Political Action Committee, based out of Washington, D.C. That is not money from the district. That is not money from people in this district. His biggest shout is that, Jamal's taking from money from people from outside of the district, people from LA, and people that don't live in this district. 42%, 600,000. And this is proof that you took the money, 600, almost 607,000. 42% of what you brought in for the quarter came from a super PAC out of Washington, D.C. That is not your district. That is not taking money from people in your district. You know what I noticed in some of these races? If you listen to what a candidate accuses another candidate of, and you look closely enough, it's usually the things that that candidate themselves are doing. Latimer, and this is written out to George Latimer for Congress. George Latimer is accusing Jamal Bowman for taking a lot of money from outside of the district. And this shows that he took almost $607,000 from APAC's Super PAC based out of Washington, D.C. And he received it on December 13th, 2023. It's a little hypocritical. That's all I have to say. I mean, see, this is what they don't like. They say whatever they say to get the people to vote for them or to throw dirt on their opponent. And when we find the receipts and we address it, this is what they don't like. If you don't want us reporting stuff like this, don't do it. There's no one picking on you, George Latimer. It's not a what did you call it? A something campaign against you. Just calling it out what it is, brother. And you can talk all you want that you grew up on the south side of Mount Vernon on 14th, South 14th, and you grew up with black people. It's starting to come off with your recent actions. It's starting to come off like a lot of white men who suffer from white privilege. That I got some black friends.
That's the most. Let me tell you something.
I got black friends. I grew up on South 14th Avenue. Some of my friends was black. Some of my
racist thing a
friends,
white man could ever say.
Some of my friends was black. We had all black. We had black friends. I went to school with black people in Mount Vernon.
So listen, I'm going to go back to this community thing because I think I want people to hear Dr. Claude Anderson because I don't think a lot of people even know who he is, but I've read all his books, and what he's saying is what the black community is deprived of. Because and I'm always going to harper back on that website that says community over party because I understand what they're saying. The majority of black folks don't, but I get what they're saying, and I have to go to the doctor to let y'all to try to explain it. Check this out.
I'm gonna be right back. Keep going.
Right now, we do not have not one single black community in America. Not one. It's impossible for you to play as a community. Means you got a team. People got mutual understandings, interests, and direction and plans. You have not one black community in America. All you got are black neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A hotel is a neighborhood. A neighborhood is like having a bucket with holes in it. You pour in water and it runs out. It has no effect. And in some of these neighborhoods, it's gotten so bad now, they're not even neighborhoods anymore. The crime has gotten so high, they ran the neighbor out. All you got left is a hood.
That's right.
That's why they call it the hood. Nothing left in there. They don't have any communities. They have a community must have three elements. make a community, qualify as a community. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can produce jobs, services, goods, products, and resources for your own people. 2, the second thing you must have in there, you must have a code of conduct saying this is how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to love and support each other. Here's how I'm going to get along. Here's why when I go to the Breakfast Club, I'm going to love and respect those blacks on there. Appreciate them, care about them, protect them. And lastly, you must have politicians elected to office who will represent you first and foremost. You don't put black folk in public office that will look out for everybody else before they look out for you. If you don't have those 3 things, you don't have a community. Or you got neighborhoods. And that's what we got in this country.
And and I'm back. He said, you don't have community, you have neighborhoods. And we don't even have some neighborhoods because we don't got neighbors. We just got hoods.
Right. And what he's saying is, and then in another, he said you have to have the economic structure to buy your politicians. And if you can't buy them, you rent them. Where are the black funded political action committees? See, when you look at our black politicians, and all of them are up in Albany right now, having a great time partying like it's 1999 right now this weekend. But when you look at their campaign finances, it's not Ray Junebug, right? It's corporations. It's probably Republicans.
You can find any politician in question. You can find out who's donated to their campaign.
Exactly.
And you can see who they're beholden to. Exactly.
See, we don't do that. And the sad thing about it is we spend over $2 trillion on nonsense every year as black people. See, sometimes when we say, oh, poor black people, we ain't got no money, we spend $2 trillion. We are the biggest consumer damn near in the world.
Arlene McDuffie asks, what's the website? I guess that you...
Did I post it?
And
which one? With the community before party?
Yeah, Arlene, what website are you talking about? And Terry Watson said straight, Dr. Claude is always telling the truth.
Yeah.
Shout out to Terry Watson. Shout out to Arlene McDuffie.
Let me look at one of the articles. I got to find it, and I'll post it.
I know I broke it down in my article about I can pull it up real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, you just throw it in the group, but I mean the understanding of that is serious, and because we didn't understand it, right now our backs are up against the wall because these organizations like AIPAC has learned just to throw money, and they brag about it on their website. Just go to Google AIPAC. They brag about that they spent more money than any other political action committee. They brag about that. They brag about how much money they're giving politicians, Republican and Democrats. They brag about that. So we have to learn that. But as Dr. Claude ended to say, we don't understand the importance of having real estate. We don't understand the importance to have commerce. We don't understand that. And we spend all our money with corporations and businesses that don't even care about us. So how do we take a city like Mount Vernon and make it into an empire with businesses and commerce? And then we don't even have the understanding to say, all right, well, we got Mount Vernon. Well, you know what? Let's reach out to Mayor Baraka, and how do we trade commerce with each other in Newark? We got this widget. You got these widgets that we need. So let's do trade and commerce. Let's create jobs. Let's get people off the street. And then, oh, wait a minute. Now that we're doing that, let's reach out to Atlanta. What widgets y'all got that we could trade and commerce? See, that's revolutionary thinking. And a lot of Negroes are too scared to do that because the first thing they'll tell you is, that's too black. And you say, oh my God, yeah, okay, we won't do it. That's what they do to us. So now our back's up against the wall. And we have an opportunity. But the thing is, what are we going to do? I know what I'm going to do. But the question is, what are you going to do? Because I'm just one person. I don't know. Because we need programs. We need people to represent us. And I'm not saying that in support of Jamal, but I'm saying, listen, he's the only, in my 55 years on this planet, my 30 years in dealing with this political atmosphere in Westchester, he has been the only elected official and the only Black elected official that openly talked about reparations for Black people. The only one. Not only that, he talks about we should get paid. Anybody else, they talking about we have to study it. How can any Black elected official say we have to study it and we're descendants of slavery and we're descendants of Jim Crow? We're descendants of redlining. We're descendants of segregation. We're descendants of police crimes against Black people. We're descendants of victims of the Ku Klux Klan. And you're going to open your Black mouth and say we have to study it? Shame on you. Not only you disrespected Black people, you disrespected yourself. Yes, we will bring Congressman Bowman on the show, as we're going to bring, well, George said he's not coming on the show, so it really doesn't matter. But I think
we will extend another invitation.
Yeah, we're going to extend another invitation to him. I mean, I might just say fuck him. If he was real strongly about that, AJ, he would say, "I'll come on the show and discuss it." You're not gonna disrespect us in front of other people, and then we're going to send you another invitation. Absolutely not. For what? You said no. The same thing with Case. We sent her an invitation for a debate on the 7th at the Mount Vernon Public Library. Everybody mark it in for the district attorney debate. Someone from her campaign said that they will think about it and they will get back to us and take her name and face and likeness off of any flyer. Guess what? We took it off. We still got it. It's a wrap. We're the voters. And the fact of the matter is, it was between 11 or 12 Black organizations that sponsored it, and they want to respond like that? No, we don't need you there. I don't care if the Democratic Party endorsed you. I really don't care.
So the website is westchesterunites.org. I put it in the thing.
Yes, please go to westchesterunites.org and see. They got it bold. Community before party. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the link in Messenger.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Let me try.
westchesterunites.org. Yeah, it took me a minute to find it because it was in several stories. I had to find the right story.
Community over party. Anti-Semitism is on the ballot. Anti-Semitism on the ballot. What is he talking about? What are they talking about? How was anti-Semitism on the ballot? We ain't spraying no swastikas nowhere. How was that on the ballot? What's on the ballot is genocide. I didn't say that. The court said it. That's what's going on over there. Ain't no anti-Semitism. And then they tell you straight up, if you're independent or enrolled with another party, take action by February 14th.
The other site is thedistrictpac.org. And I read is we are a Westchester-based political action committee powering local voters to elect politicians that represent our value. To vote, and they put in bold letters, against Jamal Bowman.
Wait, what's that? What's that website?
Thedistrictpac.org. To vote against Jamal Bowman in the Democratic Party primary, you must register as a Democrat before February 14th. Then they have a whole thing on vote, make the switch before February 14th to vote against Jamal in the Democratic primary. And it tells you how to switch your vote, where to go to switch your vote, when to switch it by.
But you know what they're saying on this? You know what they're saying? Let's get that nigga out of office. That's what they're saying.
And this is a local PAC based out of 75 South Broadway, 4th floor, White Plains, New York.
So people need to see that. They're saying, let's get this nigga out of office.
Oh, wait. Go all the way to the bottom and click on About Us. Our mission is a Westchester County-based political action committee campaigning to defeat the Squad and the Socialist Democratic Party candidates seeking to represent Westchester County residents and government.
Okay, well, all right.
We are boots on the ground in our community, actively campaigning to defeat the Squad and Socialist Democratic candidates that are destroying our country and our communities.
So now they're saying...
Wait. Our main objective in 2024 is to, bold letters, defeat Jamal Bowman's bid for re-election in the U.S. House of Representatives.
So now they're saying, let's get these niggas out of office. Not just Jamal. Let's get all the niggas out of office. That's what they're saying. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It has all to do with racism. And let's call it for what it is. And stop tiptoeing around it, Black people. Call it for what it is.
And I wanted to show this because most people on the other side say that we're making this all about race. They ask the question, Black Westchester, why does it always have to be about race, everything we talk about? We're not the ones making it about race. And I want to show you these websites. They're actively campaigning. They're saying that their main objective is to defeat Bowman. And in Westchester, and anybody that's a member of the Squad or what they call Socialist Democratic Party candidates.
So if they're so how does
welcome to the show, Catherine Borgia.
How does how does how does the national press call the squad progressive, and these people here locally call them socialists?
Who is the squad they speak of? The squad is a group of Democrats that consist of AOC, Jamal Bowman, Corey Bush let me just pull it up so I can give you all their names since you asked the question. AOC, Omar, what's her last name? Oh, they don't have the last name in here. Omar, sorry if I mispronounced her name. Presley, was that Ayanna Presley?
Yes, Sandy, we're gonna talk about the petition.
Rashida Tlaib, Jamal Bowman, Corey Bush, Greg Cesar, who represents Texas 35th Congressional District, and Summer Lee, Pennsylvania's 12th Congressional District. These are the 8 members that are considered the squad. They are all black and or brown. The founding members is AOC, Ilya Omar, Ayanna Presley, and Rashida Tlaib. They were the ones who, before Jamal got in office, they were identified as the squad, and Jamal became a member when he got in, and Corey Bush when she got in, and these other 2 when they got in. So that's who the squad is. For who's asked the question, Arlene. That's who the squad is, Arlene. And you can just Google the squad, and it'll come up and tell you all the members and where they're from, and you can see all their faces, and you can see that they consist of black and brown candidates. Their unofficial leader is AOC. At least that's who they claim is the leader. That's who they go after the most. So members of color, they're going after women.
They're all people.
Women of color, huh?
They're all people of color.
Right.
So and what are, see, here's the question. What are we supposed to think as people of color?
So they're going after people of color, but people of color are not supposed to make it about race. When we defend it or speak on it, we, Black Westchester, and us of color are making it about race. We're the ones making it about race when these white men are attacking these people of color and women of color. We're making it about race. We're making it about race.
I'm glad Catherine Borger is watching so she could take it back to the county that what's happening now is going to polarize the Democratic Party. Because yes, this campaign is making it about race. Yes, it is. Because not one time has George mentioned anything else.
So
since wait, let me finish. Since he announced it, and then when he took 10 days to say not all Muslims are part of Hamas, and then he doubled, and then not only that, he said Bowman was taking money from Hamas. Then he doubled down on it. That's not good. That is not good. What do you say to all the Muslims that work for the county, who served the county for years? What do you say to the Muslim communities? Come on now, we have to be better. And then when we call on it, when we call it, Because see, people that are around you that work for the county who got appointed jobs, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to go to work. They're going to keep their head down. They're not going to say anything because that's how it works. And I told you I'm transparent, just like I told Ken when Ken Jenkins, the deputy county exec, and I told him on the phone when it came down to the redistricting, I said people are not going to tell you what they think, but they're talking. Maybe not to you, but they're talking. They'll tell me I'm the press, whether you believe it or not. So what do you think people think when there's a campaign like this? Like sometimes if someone deals with mental health, someone that deals with mental health, a lot of times white people don't know when they create trauma on black people because they just see the world through white lenses. And then we wonder why the mental health of black men, suicide among black men is off the chain. The generational trauma of black people that have to deal and hear and see this and see what's going down and many times not say anything. We have to be more sensitive. You want us to be sensitive to everybody else's causes, but nobody is sensitive to the causes of black and brown people. Reverend Richardson said, and I wish I had the clip, but on the 3rd, I'm going to play it for all elected officials that are watching. What he told us on this show, and this was around COVID, right? When did the book come out? AJ, when did the book come out? 2020 or 2021?
It was short. It was around COVID. I don't remember.
Right. And he told us, it's a pastor. He said, y'all need to get whatever you could get from white people while they're embarrassed by Trump, because sooner they're going to go right back to being white people. That's harder than anything I ever said on a radio show. And if you don't look, and I'm going to get the clip and I'm playing it next week. So y'all don't just think, see, a lot of times y'all don't think we have receipts. We keep receipts. But the way this is playing out, it is split down racial lines. Now, I know there's going to be some black people that's going to stand on George's side. I already know that. I already know the names. I'm just waiting. I ain't even calling the names today, but I already got my list. But as I said earlier in the show, on the 3rd, we're having Pastor, what's the brother's name?
Edward Moraine.
Yeah, Pastor Moraine. I got so much going through my mind. And we're going to talk about Israel, Palestine, and the black community. We're going to talk about it. And I invite any other pastor, reverend, clergyman, anybody else that feels the need to defend what they're doing out there to come on the show. So let the world see who you are. And tell me what's going on there is okay. Look, I believe Israel had the right to respond to what happened on October 7th. But after almost 40,000 killed, enough is enough. 1,200, 40,000, game over. Right? Everybody that's watching, if you was watching a basketball game and by halftime, one team was leading 40,000 to 1,200. Who do you think won? See, I gotta make it so simple that the goats can get it. So plain. Who do you think won?
And beyond that, so I shared a lot of the articles that we talked about and everything in the thing, so people could check those out. But beyond that, though, the bottom line is, so they're saying
put that on vibrate, man. Put that on vibrate.
Yeah. I did. So the bottom line is, they're saying Hamas is hiding among the civilians. If that's the case, with all the money we've given them and all the technology they got, and the media and the military, the
AJ,
military muscle. Yeah, I did. All the military. Let me finish. The military that they have, they're gonna have to get on the ground, and they're gonna have to identify where Hamas is, and they're gonna have to find a way to take Hamas out without killing the civilians, the innocent civilians. There's no excuse for bombing a place like schools and hospitals and houses of worship, and where innocent people live. Said their houses, they're still not getting Hamas.
Well, first of all, let me ask all your people that support this. What does cemeteries have to do with anything? They are tearing up cemeteries. They're bombing churches. Hamas is in a church. You can't keep using that while you're destroying the infrastructure, so people can't even come back to their homes. Yes, it is genocide, and I don't care. And if a politician supports it, I'm going to put genocide in front of their name until they publicly denounce it and call for a ceasefire. The game is over. It's been over. And if we don't have the humanity, George, and any other elected official to stand up and say, stop. You won. It's 40,000 to 1,200.
Well, they're not. Listen. So then their argument is they're not going to stop until Hamas is completely defeated.
All right. Then
wait. Let me finish. Y'all are not killing Hamas. Y'all are killing innocent citizens that
right,
you say Hamas is hiding around. And if you can't find a way to go in and get Hamas without killing innocent civilians, you need a new plan of attack. What you're doing is failing. And then you're putting blockades in place so that no fuel and water and other things can get into the Palestinian to Palestine, to Gaza, and you're
Dude,
depriving the people,
dude,
the innocent people.
hey,
You're depriving the
put
people.
your phone on vibrate.
You're depriving the people
Put your phone on
of.
vibrate.
You're depriving the people of services that they need. You're killing. You're taking out hospitals and innocent children. Babies are dying because they can't get the hospital services. These are reports that have been all over the news. This is not something that we're making up. If you can't do it without killing these people that have nothing to do with Hamas, and Hamas is still there, you need a new plan of attack. Point blank. That's all I have to say. It's coming to the close of the show. I don't know if Damon got any other
It's two
comments.
things. Yeah, it's two things. There's a link. I want if you're a registered Democrat in Westchester County, Sandy Bernard had put a link. Please sign the petition for the Democratic chairwoman of Westchester County to kick those people that have cross-partied off. It's around 1,300 of them. New York state law says that the chair has the power, AJ spoke about it earlier, to kick those people off. These people are not registering in the Democratic Party because they believe in the morals and values of the Democrats.
If you look at the websites we showed you, they're telling you they are joining the Democratic Party to defeat Congressman Bowman's reelection bid. They told their people to join the Democratic Party to vote Jamal Bowman out in the Democratic primary. They're telling you, documenting what their intentions are. They're putting them on websites. They're handing out business cards. They're telling you point blank what their intention is. We don't have to guess. We don't have to say, oh, well, they got the right to come and vote. They're telling you their intentions. Daring you to do something about it. Counting on the fact that you won't do something about it. They're boldly, unapologetically telling you we want him out and we want to take all our people and put them in your party so we can vote him out. Point blank. So that he doesn't be the Democrat. He's not the candidate representing the Democrats in the general election. Point blank. It's as simple as that. The websites are there. We showed you on the screen. We gave you the links. Sandy put up the petition. Now, for everybody who's watching this live and everybody who will watch this later on, what are you going to do now? The oh my gods and the this is all that, that's good. But what are you going to do? You're going to sit down and lay down and let them take over your party and disenfranchise the wishes of Democratic voters in the Democratic primary? Or are you going to do something about it? If you didn't know, you didn't know. But now you know. And you need to share this with other people that you think don't know to get the word out. There's a concerted effort. They're not hiding. They're not doing it sneakily. They're not doing it in private. They're publicly putting it on websites. They're documenting it for all to read. This is what we want. This is what we want him out of office, and this is how we want to do it.
Exactly.
So what are you all going to do? That is we could lead a horse to water, but we can't make the horse drink. What are you going to do now that you know this? Are you going to spread the word to others that don't know this? Are you going to go look up the petition and sign it?
Oh shit! All this time, did you hear me all this time?
Yeah, I heard you all the whole time, and that's all I have to say on the matter. Unless Damon has something to say, I'm out. So next week.
No, I just want to address one thing, and let me go full screen because I need to. I can't because I got to show something. I just, for Monique was on the. She was on the Club Shay Shay, and one thing she said, when you talk about me privately, I'll talk about you publicly. So I just want to take a time to address Tim James, who's the Democratic chairman of the White Plains Democratic Party. Number one, I'm inviting you on the show because I've heard many rumors that you have been talking about me in email threads. So I'm personally inviting you to come on the show. For you to, I don't even think I know who you are, to be honest. What's that noise? Is that me or you? Yeah, I don't know if I know you, but if to call me misogynistic is I don't know. You don't know me, bro. I'm loved by women all over for the things, for my character and integrity. I've been married 15 years. I have 2 beautiful granddaughters. You have the damn nerve to call me something and you don't even know me. But you could get to know me. You could come on the show. Since you have a lot of things to say about me, come on the show. And you in White Plains, the city that their employees call Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. a nigga, and not one of y'all decided to get none of them fired. Then it takes 12 years to settle with the Chamberlain family. And you got the nerve to put some emails calling me a name?
Wait, 12 years for the party to even speak, because then they did come out with a statement. They did come out with a statement.
Exactly. And you got the nerve to call me a name? Shame on you, sir.
So let me facts is facts. So the definition of misogynistic is strong prejudice against women, deeply ingrained misogynist attitudes. If you're going to make a statement like that, we're demanding that you show proof of what it is that you say. You're not going to sit there and make statements against Black Westchester or any one of us individually, and you better have the receipts if you're coming for us. If you're going to even mention a name, you better have the receipts. If you don't have any proof that Damon is misogynistic, 1, we want an open apology publicly. 2, if you got proof, you better present it.
Well, first of all,
because I didn't know who you are, but now you wasn't on our radar. We wasn't paying attention. I'm sure there's some stuff going on and what you doing. So don't make yourself a source of a target for us that we can dig up everything.
No. We're not a target. No, you need to come on the show. See, because if you need to come on the show, either you come on or you don't. But I'm going to talk about you in public, since you want to talk about me in private. And I got other emails coming because see, I was told this wasn't the only email. So, and it depends what the other emails say. I might just sue your ass. I might just sue you because you don't know me, sir. You don't know nothing about me. But one thing I am a man. And one thing I'm going to call you out in public. So I would like for you to come on the show. You got the email. You can get the email.
Back up your claim.
And back up your claim.
We're very, very easy to reach, blackwestchester@gmail.com. If you don't know how to reach us. Don't use that as an excuse. We are the most Googleable persons and reachable persons on the internet. with social media and everything. So listen.
See, because I know I'm rattling a lot of cages with what we're saying, because we're pointing out the hidden racism in the Democratic Party.
And none of it can be considered misogynistic.
And then people like you, Tim, are getting a little rattled because y'all ain't used to black men speaking like the way I speak. You get used to it. See, but when you send little emails out there like that, that's being a coward. That's being a coward. So I'm calling you out. Oh, look, just the story of my life. Been working hard to enlighten people, but it's tough. One of the hardest jobs. But they plan in God's plan, and God is the blessed planners. You are great when you talk and have opinion that have people support that are in line with their thinking. But when you dare to have a different view, you are terrible and malign. Haven't we been celebrating both of you recently? And now you are a problem. Lord have mercy. Are we clear? Exactly, Judge. Exactly. But I think we need to wake up, because this is what they think behind closed doors. See, I ain't never scared. I say what I want to say. I said it when I was working for the county. Now I'm retired. I don't owe nobody nothing. So, sir, before I get the other emails and blow you up, and I will when I get the other emails, you could come on the show. Since you mad because we are enlightening people about what AIPAC is. We enlighten people on the mission of these other people. You're upset. But when did you really support any black people in politics in White Plains?
There's an article from last year.
It got so bad that sister left. What's her name? Robinson.
And there's an article that had just pulled up. First thing that Google pulled up is them running an all-white slate for the council last year.
Exactly. So black people don't live in White Plains? Huh? What's your name? Tim? Black people don't live in White Plains? You run an all-white slate? Black people ain't good enough to get on the slate? Tim?
And that was an article in the Examiner, not Black Westchester.
And you got a nerve to call me misogynist?
Nothing.
Sister Robinson got tired and left?
Nothing that was said as far as this campaign. Nothing that's been said on Black Westchester can be considered misogynistic, personally. But definitely nothing.
Maybe it was on my page when I was just talking about black men and women being in love, and us to learn how to love each other. I guess that's misogyny. Maybe you're talking about because I wrote a book called The Book of Black Love.
I don't know, but I got your phone number and your email, and I'm extending you a personal invitation, so you don't have to wait to hear from it. I just looked it up.
No, I got it right here.
I know. I just sent it to you too.
Yeah, no, I got it right here. You can send it. That might be another one. This is the one he's sharing with everybody.
No, yeah, but I'm saying I got phone number and everything.
So it's on the thing.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna call him. We just calling you out because we do this.
No, but I'm gonna send you an email inviting you.
Yeah, we're gonna send it and then send him the clip, send him the little screenshot, and we invite him to come on the show and show his opinions and prove why I am misogynistic, because I don't know who he is. Maybe I'm misogynistic because I'm telling women not to have their boobies all out on social media and their butt. Have a little respect for themselves. Well, maybe I'm misogynistic because of that.
Well, regardless, we will be addressing you, and if you ain't got proof, I'm demanding proof. You made a statement like that, I am demanding proof, and if you ain't got no proof, then I'm demanding an apology.
I'm waiting for the other emails because I just might sue him. But I invite you on the show so we can have an honest conversation because I don't even think I know who you are.
If you have a heart to say what you have to say to the person and not be sending blank emails out about them.
So we'll be waiting, sir. You're welcome to come on the show at all times. See, because this is a show we have open conversations. Or will you be scared to say what you say in emails or say it to my face? I just, I don't know why you come up with that. I mean, usually I get he's a racist. That means nothing. So when you call me something that I don't even understand why, like, who are you?
Wow, someone just sent me an email from something posted on Nextdoor by somebody named EB from Dobbs Ferry. Said the primary race here in Westchester, New York 16, between Jamal Bowman and George Latimer started out ugly. But George Latimer, on his apparent pointless quest for power, just crossed the line, and I can't click on it to find the rest of it because I'm not signed in.
He said he just crossed the line?
Yeah. That defines his, and I can't read the rest of it. Again, you have to sign in.
Well, hey, listen, man. It's going to be, as George said, he's going to expect a lot of things from my pen. And he's absolutely right. Because we're going to hold him accountable. We're going to hold him accountable. You're running
just like everybody else.
You're going to represent District 16. Let me see something before we leave. Go ahead, talk. I just want to see one more thing.
I'm kind of talked out, but yes, this is
just want to see one more thing.
This is listening to Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, giving you real talk for the community since 2014. We will address the issues. We are the news with the Black point of view. We are unapologetically Black. And this is what you can expect. And for y'all who have never seen the show, welcome to the show. Share it with everybody else. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you subscribe and like the post so you can follow up on, you can see the other videos. If you're watching this on any other form of media, feel free to share this with others that you think need to hear the news, need to hear what we're saying. Make sure you share it. Yep, never scared.
Never scared. Nope, sis. Never. We never scared. The truth is never scared. The truth is never scared. The problem is there's a lot of people that can't handle it. But we're not going to allow anybody to just disregard a group of people. You can't do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to disregard the Muslim community. You're not going to disregard the Black community. You're not going to disregard the poor community. I don't care how many handkerchief Negroes you have standing around you. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Exactly. You're not going to do it because we come with receipts. And what is so bad when we talk about Black empowerment and Black love and loving ourselves and having the type of self-esteem that we say the same way the organizations say, community before party. That's a beautiful slogan. It is.
Yeah, but it's detrimental because
no.
It's detrimental to them.
No, it's right. It's only detrimental when we don't believe it ourselves. They believe it. They believe it.
They believe it. But when we try to tell our people it's detrimental to them, it's dangerous to them.
Exactly.
When you have a united Black community backed by love and strengthened by love in our households and stuff, that is a threat to the status quo that depends and lives off of some of the dysfunctions in the Black community that they help foster, the breakdowns of the families that they help foster.
Exactly. Man, listen.
But scared or not scared, Black empowerment is what we're gonna be pushing, and we ain't never gonna stop. And we're gonna slowly but surely keep bringing our people with us and educating them and getting them empowering themselves. And yes, they are going to be a threat.
Look, hey man.
And we're gonna keep sharing the truth. We're gonna keep. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Yes, sister.
Absolutely. You know, let's have a little laugh, man. Let's end it with a little laugh. We're gonna end the show. We just gonna end the show with a little laugh, man. Oh. We're gonna end the show with a little laugh. Because I'm taken back that I'm not taken back. I should have been well aware, you know, of the pushback, but it is what it is, man. So let's have a little fun. Can y'all hear it? I can't hear it.
Nope, you got it.
Republican-funded AIPAC. You were not a progressive. You're a MAGA light. That's a Democrat whose campaign funds come from extreme MAGA obstructionists. So cheers when a Republican is too many calories for you and you settle for MAGA light. You're selling out the morals and values of the Democratic Party. The election of George Latimer will show the world that Westchester County now has two Republican parties, the Republican Party and Republican Light Party. This has been brought to you by the Westchester Black Political Conference. We believe, like Carter G. Woodson, that those who have not learned to do things for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privileges in the end than they had in the beginning. Let us make something evident for the record. When you're a Democrat like George Latimer and you take over $600,000 from MAGA, Republican-funded AIPAC, you were not a progressive. You're a MAGA light. That's a Democrat whose campaign funds come from extreme MAGA obstructionists. So cheers when a Republican is too many calories for you and you settle for MAGA light. You're selling out the morals and values of the Democratic Party. The election of George Latimer will show the world that Westchester County now has two Republican parties, the Republican Party and Republican Light Party. This has been brought to you by the Westchester Black Political Conference. We believe, like Carter G. Woodson, that those who have not learned to do things for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privileges in the end than they had in the beginning.
And I think that's it. Peace out, everybody. Thank you. I don't know. AJ, you gonna be? I'll be away for a week. You doing the show next week?
Not sure.
All right. Well, peace out.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism, We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not